I mean, it does make sense coming from the mayor of PoundTown. You know what I'm saying? Alexander, brother, thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.
I was excited. I'm like, it's kind of like really close to the after the fight. I wonder if he's available. And I was like, might as well do it now. I'm like, I didn't. Most people recover or celebrate, do this, do that, and I'm like, I have a weird suspicion he's just one of those guys really dedicated to this. He's probably like, I'm going home, going to sleep, do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, basically.
You're with Zach, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Out at Ignite.
Yes, sir.
How'd you get plugged in with Ignite?
So it kind of started. I was in college, and I was talking some shit with one of my buddies in my class. So we were gonna fight. It was gonna be an MMA fight. I ended up getting switched to just like boxing later after that, which is fine. But I was like, I had a little bit of background in wrestling, so I was like, okay, that might be good.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need to like train a little bit for this, because I don't want to just like walk into a fight not.
Like, I'm gonna surprise this motherfucker.
Yeah, something like that, right? Because I mean, obviously, I want to win, but yeah. So I was looking for gyms, and I saw, because it was Glory back then. I saw both the Overland Park gym and the Gladstone. They're both like same distance away from my house, so I just ended up going to the Gladstone one, and was up there for a little bit. It was like winter break of I think 2017 or 2018. I don't quite remember.
Okay.
But I was just up there for winter break, and then I came back, had that fight with the dude. It was just boxing. He gave up in the second. He just didn't want to come back out after the break. Mind you.
Is this like in the backyard?
Oh yeah, it was backyard.
Okay.
It was no, it's not.
Promotion.
No, but no, it was outside, middle of February in Oklahoma. It was cold. Breathing in just like stung the lungs. Oh, yeah. So it was just like I understand.
You're like, I'm built for this.
After that, man, I was like, I got a little bit of a taste, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta keep going with this.
So that your whole intention was just to do it for a short period of time. Like, I'm gonna train for a little bit just for this fight, and then
I figured I was talking shit a little bit, so I gotta kind of back it up, and then I was like, maybe I can do something here. And
man of honor. You were like, my word is my bond. I will kill you.
There you go. There you go.
It's funny how many people, because when I went to Gladstone for a few months, like before COVID was a thing, and I was just piddling around, like, I guess I'll be here, and I'm like, I just don't want to learn. I want to learn to not get beat up anymore. Like, growing up, I'm like, I was the guy that they were like, oh gosh, was this your waist? And they're like, there's nothing there. Where's their food go? Like all this stuff. So then I'm naturally the one that had to make up for that by like being the funny guy. And then the guys whose girlfriends were laughing didn't like that very much.
Oh yeah.
And so then their insecurity came out, and then they're like, oh, fucking fight you. And I'm like, now I have to go from like impressing your girlfriend, Mrs. Steele girl, to please don't kill me. Let's make some jokes and get out of it. And that's what I did for most of like my adolescence. And then I have a 9-year-old. So that lightsaber, the big one, it's mine, of course. The little one,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, the kid or the lightsaber?
The kid.
Okay. I was like, the kid or the lightsaber? Oh, that's good. And yeah, it's the best thing ever. But I started getting this thing where I'm like terrified to take him places, because I'm like, oh, what if that same scenario happens out in the real world with like a grown adult? And I'm like, I don't think I want that insecurity and that fear anymore. Yeah. So then I went over there, and I was like, I saw the medals and all the stuff when you walk into Gladstone. I'm like, Zach, I can't wait till he's on here, and I can actually, like, we're setting up a time where him and Chris can come in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't wait to tell him this story in person, because I've said it, like, probably like 3 or 4 times with every Gladstone dude. And I see all the, like, accolades and all on the wall, and I'm like, Zach, I want those. And he laughed at me. He's like, He goes, okay. And I go, no, I'm serious. And it was serious to me. Like, the next 2 years, I was training, and then I switched from there because it was a super long drive for me. I lived like an hour away.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was the only one before Trey opened up, the one over the park. And so when that one opened, then I was there with Trey for the next year and a half. But yeah, I was there, hour and 15-minute drive there. I'd train both classes, and then I'd go to work night shift, and then try to sleep. But I'm so damn excited after class and work, and I'm like, I'm really progressing. So then all that got kind of like fucked up. So then I looked for a new job, transferred over to Overland Park, and continued to just grow and develop a skill that I didn't think. I thought it was something of you had to be a specimen to like learn this skill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like you just this jacked athlete who can like pick up, Francis Ngannou, no problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is just technique. This is just technique. Is that something that it keeps you pushing forward? Like that little, every day I felt like I learned something new a little bit.
Oh yeah. There's definitely milestones in it.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part. There's like, maybe somebody's been putting it on you for a while, and then you finally kind of get a little bit of breakthrough on them.
Ooh, you're talking my language.
And it's just like, it's like, dang, man, you can see the growth in yourself. And that's like the most exciting part is that like, I'm getting better. I really am getting better.
I'm actually doing shit.
You're not just throwing yourself against a wall, like hoping you stick, but it's actually
that's what I thought I was going to do.
Together. Yeah.
Did you think that's what it was going to be when you walked in?
I mean, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. To be honest, like the first couple classes, man, I was terrified in my head because I was just like what Ty Schrader and Mike Murray and stuff.
Oh my gosh,
and like those guys to me at that time, I mean, they're like OGs to me, but at that time I was like, oh, these guys are like the real thing. They'll just mess me up, man, like that if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I mean. We're all friends now. It's great.
Yeah, they're the nicest, man.
Oh, yeah. No, they really are.
I had both of them in here, and I talked about going to Gladstone, and I was so terrified. It makes no sense, but it's rational to me, okay? So I went to Amazon, and I bought a full, like, rash guard Spiderman suit. So I had the top, and
That's
I had
nice.
the bottom, okay? So I thought, it sounds so stupid as a grown man saying it out loud, but I was like, this is my protective shield. I can be like Spider-Man. Like, was really down for it. And that was the thing they all said. They go, yeah, of course we remember you. You were the dude who wore the Spider-Man suit. And I just sat there and I'm like, oh, because I just didn't take it off. Then I bought like 5 others and I'm like, Miles Morales today. I was like different ones. I'm like, $20.99, here we go. And I had different ones.
Oh, that's good. That can be fun too.
Oh yeah, it definitely it helped me at least. That's something else that did was I had, like I said, terrible anxiety with stuff. And that little progression, it's like, I see it now and I'm like, I wish I could help. But you got to go through like some type of hell. Mm-hmm. And then realize that like, oh, I can find this thing or something that I love more than anything else that I really want to dive into. Yeah. And then just follow that the whole way. And it's like, it makes everything else seem kind of insignificant because you're like, that's purpose. This is my thing. Right. And to have that, it was super special. And the teammates there, like you said, Mike and Ty, it's just
my favorite people.
Yeah.
By far.
There's no one, I hate other groups of people because they're so awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you get around people, like how old are you?
24.
24?
Yes, sir.
Nice, you got the mutton chops. How long did the hair take, man?
I've had long hair since like junior year in high school, so it's been a while. I get it cut every once in a while.
I saw a fight picture of you without the braids and everything, and I'm like, it's like a lion's mane.
Oh yeah, it can get kind of poofy.
I was like, you must go through a ton of conditioner.
Yeah, I do. I got to use it a lot. It gets bad.
And I keep seeing people that are like. I'm 26, and so like around our age who just, they did the college route, they're out, and then they still hate it. And then they're even worse than they were before because they're like, this is what I thought I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. It's like, you got to kind of go out there and test things like you did. You know what I mean? Like, just go there and be like, I want to keep my word. And you never know what's going to happen, and it could just unlock this cool thing.
It just clicks.
Yeah. And man, to the fight, I turned around to everybody. We are at the table. Mm-hmm. And I turned and I go, this kid, right? And everyone's like, heck yeah. And they're like pulling their phones out, like looking you up. And you're like, I'm not really on social media that much. And I'm like, I'm glad that I worked like I did Messenger and I was able to get you in here, man.
Yeah.
But describe that fight actually, because I think I have a different perspective from everybody who's in there, of course, because you're in there. I'm outside.
I don't know, bro. To me, man, it was just like straight brawl. We were just getting after it. There is a decent back and forth. I mean, he's definitely touching me. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But I mean, I was throwing hard.
You have
probably the hardest that I've thrown before.
Yes.
I bruised the first 2 knuckles on my right hand.
It's better to bruise those than break these, you know?
Yeah.
So you're perfect for him. Pop, and I could hear it too, man.
That's some of the videos that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear that like cage side, that crack when it lands.
Yeah. Oh, you had a great I think it was a lead uppercut.
Yeah, I was throwing a lot of uppercuts.
It was like you'd miss just offside and maybe shoot back this way, and he'd bam. And speaking of sounds, you got some body kicks. Didn't you get some body kicks?
Yeah, he kicked me a couple times. There was one I got the scar. Can I?
Let's rock and roll.
Not really a scar, but you can see a little bit still right there.
Oh, it's his footprint.
Yeah, I think his toes like kind of wrapped around, his shin hit, and his toes kept going and just kind of poked me in the side. And
I could hear those too, and it's on the right side, so I'm like, that liver's over there, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think this purple or the blue haired dude's getting out of it alive. I'm like, because you could kind of see it. I don't know if you can tell. He
is probably the toughest guy, dude.
He didn't stop.
Oh no, not at all.
How does that feel? Because that's like my nightmare. Like, you know those dreams where you're like fighting someone.
Yeah, you got like pillow hands. You can keep hitting them no matter how hard or anything. They just never go down. Yeah, it's kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that fear, because it was
so, like, sometimes I'd hit him and I was like, that's like I hit him hard. Yeah, and he's just like, I'm fine, basically. And it's like, oh, okay.
He went like this.
I guess.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit. How long were you there after those classes before you were like, I'm gonna fight? Like when you went in with Zach the first time?
I was kind of a while. I went out and did some work, kind of out in another state during 2020, the summer of that, and then really I got back that fall and I started getting more committed. And it was about.
I bet the wrestling. You said you had a wrestling background.
It was just what was it? It was like 8th grade and freshman part of sophomore year. It wasn't a whole lot.
A whole lot?
No, it was just a little bit. I can't
tell. Like I'm watching and I'm like looking at highlights. I'm like, man, this guy is really good. And I'm like, I love that you're just a super humble guy. You know, you're like, I went to a class.
I'm like, maybe I don't see it as much because to me it's like every day in practice, especially now that I'm doing the morning classes and I'm training with the pros and everything.
Yeah,
I'm getting it like put on me every day, and it's like it's not easy. I'm not winning all the time, definitely. Right. So, but I'm definitely getting better from it.
And it's good to be in the oven. You know what I mean? Like it's good to be like, okay, let's push that limit a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I think is the reason this exists. I'm like, it just trained me to learn that, you know, you might get burnt a little bit, but no one can really stop you if you don't quit. Like if you just keep going, like if you keep going, or you dye your hair blue and then you just keep walking to Alexander. But it's to circle it all like kind of back to the like our age bracket. It just makes me like sad at this point because I'm like I'm meeting more people and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this, and you know they'll message about how well it's going in the show, and they're like, I wish I had this or wish I did. I'm like, go try something. Like go do. I've always wanted to do jiu-jitsu. I hear that so much, and I'm like, dude, Ray will teach you for free.
What's stopping you?
Yeah, fear.
Yeah.
A lot of people are ruled by
ego.
Fear.
They don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to lose, man.
Yeah.
Because it sucks to be like, oh, I'm not as good as this guy, but it's like
right.
Just like everything else, you gotta. It's like for me, for learning at least, it's repetition. So you just gotta keep on doing it, and then eventually you'll see a way.
That's how I learned a lot of moves. Actually, I was just like, it was like a month straight of something we would drill, and then like muscle memory by doing it so much, it was just like I did that part, kind of like faded away, and I'm like, there's an opening there. And I would be like, Trey, can I do this? And he's like, ooh. I'm like, he goes, yes, you can. That's actually really nasty. And he'd be like, guys.
Yeah.
It's just the commitment aspect of it. And how many fights have you had?
That was number 6.
Number
I
6?
just had, yeah.
Man, I actually have another question because you mentioned the morning class.
What's up?
The pros?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I've got to meet and be around some of them. I'm not trying to be, not in a rude way, but I'm like, when you have someone that locked in division, it's like, it like shifted me personally. I'm like, I need to be more dedicated. So we talk about these collective groups and how they kind of shape you a little bit.
Yeah.
When did you transition to the pro class? Because you have 6 fights.
So, a little bit before my 5th fight, with Dalen Loonsfoot,
yeah,
I started going up to Lee Summit back when it was all glory. Yeah. And it was really just on grappling days. I wasn't doing any striking with them. But I could tell like immediately I was starting to just pick up little things and definitely getting better. And then after that whole thing happened over the winter, the morning classes got kind of moved up to Gladstone.
Yep.
And I just transferred doing that the whole time. Talked to my coach about it. He said, yeah, go for it. That's just what I've been doing. Yeah.
And Zach's an awesome coach. Good mentor, good dude. And I always say the story like he laughed at me, but I was like, it wasn't like, ha ha, fuck you, like you suck. It was like, we'll see how dedicated you really are. And I'm like,
I'm sure he has people coming all the time saying that stuff.
Oh yeah. I guess you're in the pro class, so you don't have these guys coming in. But I do remember guys coming in from just hanging out in Gladstone. They were like, we were walking down the street. They said, do you do UFC here? And I remember
it's always what it is, isn't it? It's always the UFC.
There's this UFC here.
Yeah.
Because they see Zach and they're like, UFC does here. And they said it like that, like not even like a real sentence. And they weren't like in shape. They were just like having a regular day. And it's nighttime. I'm stretching. I'm in my spider uniform. They lock eye contact. And we had a plan for that day. We changed it completely. Because then, I forget, is it like Brian or something who has the glasses?
Works at the front desk? Yeah.
He goes, we got one. Zach, we got some. Like that. And he looked at it and Zach was like, okay. He goes, so you guys want to do the UFC? And all we did was like conditioning and like, like getting hit in his ab, like kicked, doing planks. Man, they lasted the 10 minutes they did the warm up and they were like sweating like terribly.
Yeah, I've seen some people leave after the warm up before. And I'm like, wow.
They do the warm up and they're like, nope.
I mean, yeah, I guess if that's not something you've normally done, then it's like it's gonna be really intense. But
it's a good filter because you're like, okay, these guys are actually here, and then if they leave, then we can do the actual class. But yeah, and we would do it like in a circle, so we were like doing planks, right? And we're all in a circle, and I still remember. I know he's hella busy, but David Onama was like a person next to me, like a little bit close, and I'm like starting to fall a little bit, and he's like, "Don't fuck this up, like come on, we gotta hold it, let's do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, we can." And for whatever reason, it like motivated me to push past limits, and then those guys just collapsed, and he's like, "Guess we're gonna restart because we got the guys who want to do UFC." I'm like, and it was like, at least that's not me. Like I remember leaving that class like, yeah, I'm not one of these like poser people. Like I'm actually here.
Feeling good about yourself. Like I can do it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm dedicated to this.
Yeah, man.
These guys just had the Mexican joint down the street or whatever, and they were like, let's get a workout.
Spicy food before a workout.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Not for them.
No.
Not for them at all. And then we were dying because your nickname's the mayor of PoundTown. And I go, it's
a good one, isn't it? There's some entertainment value there.
That is the best double. It's a double entendre, right? It's like the mayor of PoundTown, right? Like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then it's also the mayor of PoundTown. It's like kind of it has both of them, and the whole table's just dying. They go, is that what it work?
I just love that I'm an elected official, man. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it must have been unanimous. They must have like, we want Alexander for sure. Very dedicated, here for us, right? But what made you choose the mayor of PoundTown?
Okay, so it was before my third fight. It was in Memorial Hall, actually.
Oh, nice.
And like a lot of times, people in the back when they're getting ready for their fight, they got headphones on, listening to music, doing whatever. Everyone's got their own kind of like routine. I just kind of try to sit with myself and like be there, be in the moment, because I feel like whenever you're in the cage, it's all you really have anyways. Like there's no music there to distract you from anything. You just got to deal with it. Right.
It's just you.
And so one of my teammates asked, like, going through like a little bit of a game plan, like making sure my mind's in the right place.
Right.
And he's just like, then you're gonna take him down. What are you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna take him to PoundTown.
Yeah.
And he just started dying, dude. And he talked about it for like a month after that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stuck.
Kind of like, yeah, you're the fucking mayor.
Yeah, I was just like, it was real serious conversation, and I just like plain face just said that, and it was, yeah, man, I guess it was funny.
It's
and then I went out there and I gave that guy a beating.
Who'd you fight when
it was Dennis Beecham. That one it didn't leave the first round.
Oh, nice. Hilarious story, right? It could have been like, I was thinking maybe you're like, I don't know, I just picked it or whatever, and I'm like, I like that it was from an outside source who was like motivating you, and you were like, I'm sitting with myself, what would I say? And you're like, down.
Well, I just want to let them know it's like I'm in a good enough headspace, to like maybe crack a little joke.
Right. Well, it's also a tough something like spot that up here.
Yeah.
To sit back there with no music, right? I mean, I still listen to music to get pumped up to go to the gym or the workout or do something. I'm like, yeah, what are we gonna? Yeah, that's me. Get a good rhythm going. But to sit there in the fight, it's not. I like how Trey told like us. He's like, it's your body getting ready for war, right? Like, sit with it. Like, it's doing its job. Like, don't fight it. You're gonna counteract it. Just be there, And like you said, they have the routine. They do the headphones. They do something else, or pads. I went down to the backstage area where you guys were getting all ready.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah. And there's just, it's like not tension, but you can feel like real shit's going down. Like it's about to go down. And it's just the atmosphere and the vibe. And so to be in there with nothing like this blocking, and then your own stuff going on, you have a tough mentality, dude. Like insane. So I say, be proud of that, Mr. PoundTown.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So you went in so you could keep your word against this friend.
Yeah.
Then loved it, did it. Is there aspirations after?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna see how far I can take it.
How far you can go?
Yeah. Why not?
I've
quit multiple jobs just to keep doing this before, so I'm not like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does that schedule work? Like, because when I see people who. Because there's not like a ton of money up front, of course.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
It's not like you can just be like, I train and then I have an amateur career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's dedication at this point. I want to get back to that. Talk about jobs. Like, not in a psychotic way.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mom, for giving me a house and food in my stomach while I do all of this.
Thank you, Mom.
Yes.
I'm right there, too. That's why I'm able to.
Yes, thank you for supporting me and having me have an opportunity to follow my dreams. Thank you.
That's awesome. Like when parents are there.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I usually get to a point where it's like I'm fine with the job, and then I start kind of getting burned out. I don't know if it's because like I learned how to do the job pretty well to a point where like I can like almost do it subconsciously.
Right.
And I'm just in my head, and like a small thing like ticks me off, and then I'm just like done.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes it's like, man, I'm working like 8-9 hour day at one job or something. And then it's like, I go train afterwards because I was doing that for a bit. And it's like, man, I'm killing my body doing both of these.
Yeah.
And it's like, sure, I could make like okay money doing this job, or I can do something that I really enjoy. Like fighting is the only thing I haven't gotten burned out on yet. And I've been doing that for like a couple years straight now. So like, I think it's worth pursuing because of that.
It's like, it's the same thing with anything involved here. like as I'm watching or like editing the thing, I'm like, I don't know, maybe we could put a lie. Maybe we could do, you know, I'm always, what does the big vision look like? You know, how far can I take it? And I think that everyone has their own little thing like that, their own purpose-driven, like, this is the thing I latch onto. And if you find it, well, one, don't give up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Never do that.
And two, like, I had this talk with my sister because she's moving back home too, just for a short period of time so she can save some money, get her first car, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, she did the college route, graduated, and she's like, she's an amazing dancer. So she danced at the college level, and she goes, I really just like being the person who runs the competition team at this dance studio. I don't care what it makes. It makes me happy, and I have a good time doing it, and it's my passion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And so if you have that, of course, don't give up. And then also realize that, like, just because I had to tell her you're moving back home doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It means that you're going forward towards the thing you actually are supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I tell myself that I'm still in school.
Yeah. I
right?
mean, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it technically is because I'm learning stuff every day. So it's like. Yeah.
And don't you question PoundTown. He'll show you what he learned. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I was gonna ask another thing too was that, like, when I said that to her, it's because I went through it like the hard way of just like, because I couldn't do it just like you did. I'm like, there's no way, right? And so I finally found a job where it pushes me mentally to limits where I have to like use my mind to do engineering tasks, right? And do it more efficiently, better, and do that.
Yeah.
And so it's like I found it. That's what I told her. I'm like, I found it. Like, I just happened to I tried multiple jobs. The important part here, right? Unless it's your mom, right? Your mom sounds like your biggest supporter.
Oh yeah, she's been to every fight. Hasn't missed a one.
Really?
Yeah.
Does she ever go like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like,
I mean,
I saw you two walk in by the bathrooms.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and I'm like, I love that. Thank you. It just went off in my head like, bing. I was like, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Because most parents aren't very supportive, especially. In
yeah, I can understand why. Because
Yeah.
I expressed interest when I was younger, and my dad didn't let me do anything, which I can doing like karate or something like that, like in middle school.
Yeah.
Or something. I mean, I can understand. One, you don't want to see your kid get hurt.
Yeah.
That can be a big thing, and then also medical bills are expensive. So they're a little. I can understand. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But she knows that I'm going to practice every day. Like,
right.
I'm working hard, and I'm capable of doing something. And you know, sometimes like you just get hit right.
Yeah.
And it might end, and that's the way it is. You got to accept it. But
that's you could get hit by a car tomorrow too.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just they always use that route. What if this? How are you? I mean, we can talk about the slam. When Caleb got slammed,
man,
dude, terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing for like 10 seconds, and then when he wasn't moving.
Yeah, that's something you want to take a couple months, probably just relax a little bit.
You know, I watched it with Rose Namajunas. Did you ever watch her get slammed by?
I don't think I remember that. No.
No. Same situation. She was going for a submission like that, trying to get the arm, and then Zhang Weili is just so big. Or no, it's not when they fought. But anyway, she was just up, down immediately, but she didn't like go off her feet or anything. It was just her slamming her, and it was just her head kinked just right. Then everything turned off. It was like too much damage. And it was the same thing I watched, and I'm like, oh no.
It's that hit to the back of the head really mess you up.
It's not good. Everything back here, that's why it's on the back. Okay. It was like, where should we put all the vital stuff? Let's put it, eyes look this way, put it on the back, so that way they can be like, where are you coming from? But yeah, like that slam, it's like, I think it's so obvious that something bad could happen that they just attack that right away. But then we drive every day, and they're like, that's nothing.
Yeah, there's how many hundreds of other people driving on the road that maybe have no business driving
at all.
Oh yeah.
Like I know, like when I see someone do some crazy shit, I'm like, you don't have a license.
Or like a deer runs out in the middle of the road and then somebody swerves. Like
you just forget you're over here.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, go for it.
You can just catch a hook randomly.
Yep. It's usually the ones you don't see, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And but yeah, I think it's just part of the it's just so evident that there's damage being done, and everyone knows that that's part of the game, right? What they don't see is the stuff that like I get the chance to talk to you guys about, which is like, no, it's that dedication that like there's something in me that wants to, and I could tell when you spoke about going in for the first time, like I wanted to make sure that my word actually had some like substance.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't do that. They just say nonsense. And
if you're just all talk, man, then it's like,
yeah, it's like 90% of the population. You know, I went out. So like for the draft, me and my sister went there, and it's right across from my work building. And then we went to Power Likes because we wanted to just enjoy the evening, have a good night. Like let's we'll live forever. Like I just watched Fall Out Boy. Oh my gosh, you know.
mm-hmm.
And all I heard was just bullshit like around me. And it made me so, my investments. And my Tesla, I got the new one, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, I hate these people. I'm like, I know that's not true. And it's usually like, you know, some chicks around or
people trying to flex.
Yeah. And I'm like, if you have
little bit of peacock action going on there.
Yeah. I'm like, let me cut those fucking feathers.
Yeah.
It's just something that drives me nuts.
Some people got to do that, and that's okay.
Yeah. It's just, it's like makes me angry, like I said, but then also I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't think they really have anything else. Like, they don't have anything. Like, this is what they think is their purpose thing. And I'm like, yeah, what happens if, like, your Tesla batteries explode? And you're like, oh, shit, I didn't.
Yeah, that's just a car, bro.
Yeah, it just breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Things go bad. And I remember, so look, I want to get back to, so I can cycle into my parents.
Okay.
When they found out that I was fighting
mm-hmm.
or training. And so you have a really good family support system when it comes to this.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
So that, I assume that's way better than the parent being like, I told you so. I knew you'd get hurt, right? Which
I mean, I've got some people that are like that too, but
yeah, they can get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
Or they can come to PoundTown.
Yes, sir.
That was
yes, sir.
Ooh, that's a shirt. I'm making you a shirt.
Oh man! Merch is in the works, by the way.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
You can become a citizen of PoundTown if you want.
I am. I would like that. Where do I sign?
I
like the application.
I'll let you know when I got them.
Got it. Can I be on like your cabinet or whatever they use?
Yeah, I was thinking of making some like specialty shirts as well, where it's like different positions.
That'd be so awesome, dude. Just you, like a perfect like triangle shape. You like here in a picture, and then it just says your cabinet member.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the best. And it was that, you know, it was like when this happened, I was just honest. I'm like, okay, here's the numbers, and I'm living with you guys, right? I moved back home, ditched everything, and I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that, you know, there was hesitation. Of course, they're like, what are you doing? That's never going to be a thing. I'm like, it's a thing. It's like, I'm connecting with incredible people. I'm doing things that I can, if you see it, it's possible, you know? And so the vision now becomes a reality just by the consistency of being better every day and making sure you put in work. Same way with training. So like that kind of worked itself into like my DNA. And by doing that, they're like, but you could have like this money or like this. And I'm like, I don't. So? I'm like, what does that do? They're like, it's nice. I go, we're lucky to be on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're lucky to be here. What do you mean it's nice? It's just a thing, you know? Like, we only thing we leave here with that I'm for sure of, because I haven't done it yet. No one comes back to tell, okay? But like, when we die, what we got to keep our experiences. Memory is all the important stuff is there in relationship, right?
Yeah, you don't get to keep your house, your car, your money, any of that when you go. So it's like, why are we focusing on these physical things? Let's enjoy what we have while we have it,
right?
And kind of just,
I think it's just easier.
Just accept where you are and be chill with that. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean like you don't want to go achieve something and stuff like that, but it's like just being content with what you have now.
Right. And that's something else too. It was like, what's the common lesson with like money? It's like okay, if you know, it's like the person in church being like, God, if I could have so much more money, right? And you're like, why would he make that opportunity if you can't even handle an extra $100?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you deserve an extra 1,000? What makes you think you'd be better with it? And it's like, because the lesson part isn't there. And, you know, it's just that classic parable. It's like, I don't think I'd be ready to do what we're doing in this room or outside of it if I didn't go through the shit I did with like failed attempts and managing money correctly, making sure that, you know, me and my kid were taken care of, like making sure all the other steps before like you get to where you have to be. But, you know, people just really want to talk about their Tesla and their investment and this and that. And I'm like, dude, and not to be like a braggy asshole, but like when I heard them talking about their investments and how well it was doing, I'm like, I know it was a red day. Like it was a shit day. You're lying. You know, like I know it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, it gets fixated on. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. And I asked my sister, I was like, does that impress you? And she, like, hearing that stuff, if someone came up to you at a bar and told you that, she goes, no. And I go, why do they do it? And she goes, they're insecure, I guess. And I'm like, I call her name's Michaela, but I call her KK. And I go, KK, I don't know how healthy your mind is right now. Like, you're 22. I'm like, they're 28 talking about this, you know? And I don't know. Now I'm just fixated on this same dude. I can see him. You know what I mean? Like, I can see him standing like over here.
Hey, bro, just let it go, man.
Yeah, it's simple thing. Catch and release.
Yeah, you're letting him have control over you right now. Right?
That is good.
He's got your mind.
Gone.
Yeah.
I'm a cabinet member of PoundTown, right? I'm actually impressive. He's not.
Oh yeah, man.
Do you have any kind of that? I had a spirit. I always felt this kind of spiritual element, like connection to something out there. Does that keep you kind of?
Oh yeah.
In that space.
Yeah, I think I've been in a little bit of a. What would we call it? Like, on a spiritual path, I guess, something like that. More akin to like Christianity in a way, but definitely refinding some wisdom and some faith.
It's important.
Keeping me. Yeah.
How so?
I don't know. It's been a lot with just the mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been on the path of like we're not really our thoughts,
right? And
it's like so that's more the ego, like the I, the me in the head.
I love that. Yeah.
And trying to like let all that stuff go. Like in science class, what did we learn? It's like Newton's law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yep.
Right, and it's like if you're happy, at some point you're gonna feel sad.
Right.
Because you're in a high, so
right.
You're gonna feel low. Right. It's like if you drink too much, you're gonna have a hangover the next day.
Right.
If you're dehydrated. So I've just been like trying to be mindful of that and just kind of like have a grip on my emotions and just like let stuff go. Try not to let it bother me. And it's kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, some stuff that would probably bother me before like doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
So it's almost freeing in a way.
Very. And there was like same with that one, like you aren't your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That was something I was like, whoa. I mean, just the sentence alone, you were like, what I'm thinking, and you're like, yeah, but it's not you thinking the thought. Like, it's completely separate. And the other one was like the invisible audience. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So everybody has the invisible audience. It's like, so if I'm walking, I don't do it now because I realized that it was happening. But like when someone's walking down the street and someone's walking the other way, you're thinking, what are they thinking of me? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not thinking about you at all. They're thinking
the same
what
thing
are you thinking about me?
Yeah.
No one's thinking about you. Like, you're thinking about you. That's it.
That's a little bit of paranoia right there.
Yeah.
Right?
And everyone operates that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I think if they heard that, they'd be like, oh. Like, yeah, most people aren't really thinking about you, especially the strangers that you're, like, trying to get the attention for.
Yeah, trying to show off to or stuff like that, yeah.
They're just thinking about how they can find something to then make them feel better about. It's your own bubble.
Oh yeah, it's a big entangled mess. It's all in the head.
It's a contained mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you said, because I was Christian, I'm Christian my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was something that was really easy for me to be like, you know, I remember being probably 3rd or 4th grade, and I'm in like Kingdom Kids, like the church class after school.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and I'm like, I always felt this like above me type deal, and I'm like, this is it.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, there's moments where God shows up, you know, like makes things possible, and I think that, you know, Rainn Wilson was talking, and he goes, sometimes we forget that we're just like a vessel for the spiritual part of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my mind, it looks like a jar, right? Here's the body of your jar. And then your soul is so complex and there's so much to it. It's trying to shove it in the jar and then got it. And then like latch the jar.
Mm-hmm.
It's packed full, you know? And eventually we don't have the jar anymore. And so it's like, oh, right. It like just shifts focus instead of all the noise on the purpose-driven stuff. And so I really think that without some type of faith, it's like, that sounds pretty miserable. Like if you don't have something, you know?
Yeah.
Or to even think about, you know, I'm not my thoughts, or, you know, deeper elements to the existence that we get the joy of doing. It's like, if you ignore it, it doesn't make it get any better.
Like, no, not at all.
Not at all.
And I think the whole "we're not our thoughts" is almost kind of like a foreign what's the word I'm looking for here? Like foreign way of thinking almost for a lot of people as well, because it's like we're taught so much of like critical thinking in school and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and they've had us like really trying to use our minds, which I mean I understand like what all this stuff up here, right? It was in somebody's head first before they made it, which I mean I understand, buildings, all that stuff, architecture, but I don't know, like another part too, it's like almost a lot of times we think that we know what we want, and I've found that some of the things that I thought I wanted in the past, and then when I finally got them, like that's not what I wanted at all. I wanted something else. I convinced myself in my head that this is going to bring whatever thing that I wanted, and it just like didn't even happen.
Yeah.
So it's let go of control of my own life and just kind of like give that back to God. Like trust that God's got a plan for me, and just like let Him do it, because I can't move the stars, but God can, right?
Right, dude. Another merch item. You know, like I'm just thinking like I can't move the stars, and like
yeah, but
I mean, very true. Plus, it's not living and like messing you up on a daily basis. You're not like thinking constantly about you know. Just to me, just the sound of that. Like, once that was gone, I'm like, a lot of that anxiety stuff's kind of gone, too. Cool. Like, it was like...
Yeah. I mean, it's not like... Sure, you can't be, like, ecstatic happy and stuff, but it's like you're not miserably depressed and stuff like that, and that's probably a bit more beneficial. Just like a constant pace.
And even...
steady.
I love your happy-sad analogy. Like, there's an equal opposite, you know?
So that yin and yang, right?
Oh, yes. The yin and the yang. And, like, and back to school, like, I really think that, yes, of course, like you said, critical thinking is important. But, dude, like, if you're a young kid and, you know, no one, maybe you're, like, completely alone. Like, you have a terrible situation, right? I was talking to Ray Freeman, who does one community club Jiu-Jitsu, where he teaches inner city kids Jiu-Jitsu for free.
Nice.
And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. And, you know, his stories about being in foster care, his mom lost his rights, him and his sisters, they got thrown through the system and, you know, got separated, and then, like, leading all the way into, like, a terrible double homicide involving his his middle sister. And, I mean, I'm sitting here across from him like, oh my gosh. He's
that's
like,
crazy. And
no one cared. He's like, but when I was going through some like bad phases, right, I found jiu-jitsu. And he goes, his perfect reaction, which is what you alluded to earlier, was you either get choked out and you say, I never want to feel that again, I'm never coming back. Or I got choked out, I'm going to come back. So I learned never to get choked out. Like it's either, it's the same thing with like, the alcoholic dad has 2 twin boys. One grows up, sees his dad drinking, becomes an alcoholic just like his dad. Mm-hmm. The other one never touches alcohol. It's like yin and yang, right? 2 opposites. Yeah. And he was like, if young kids in my situation when I was in foster care with my sisters could learn that kind of like community and connection, mm-hmm. He goes, he was talking about seeing people who were, they were not going to school, giving up, and just doing street stuff. Completely shift, continue school, get excellent grades, and then I got my first career, my first job in a career field I like. My first apartment, my first car. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's like, that wouldn't happen otherwise. And I'm like, so his goal is to get jiu-jitsu like in place of PE. Like get it in the curriculum. Nice. And I'm like, that's awesome. Ray, I'm there for it. Like, I'm helping you with that for sure. Because that's what changed my mindset in my 20s. Like at 22, 23.
Well, also you gotta think like we're young men, dude. We need some type of violence or something like that.
Yes, we do.
And it's like that. There's nothing in public schools for that, really. If anything, it's discipline. Like, you disciplined out of you.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Just do the critical thinking.
Yeah,
You're like, oh come on, there's something else here. You're like, shut it.
I mean, like we're supposed to be out like doing stuff outside and stuff like that. And mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's a good outlet if people are like they get upset, they get angry and stuff, mm-hmm. and it's gone after the gym. Like you don't have that anymore. You're feeling good.
And well, it's also teaches you that I think just something because
it does humble you in a way as well.
Oh,
because it's sure. Like, well, someone just choke me out if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could kill me.
Yeah, exactly.
If they don't let go, they will kill me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they had enough control to even let go. Whoa. I mean, granted, if they held on and did it, I mean, one, there's people around that would mess them up that are higher than them. Yeah. And then on top of that, of course, you would potentially kill someone. So, not good. But either way, it's like they let go. I remember feeling that, and I remember for the first time really seeing the screen go down, that vision come in, and I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, I'm pushing limits. And I remember it got so close. I'm like, I'm right there. And I tapped and I let go and it.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, oh, my God.
Sometimes I get like real shaky. I got to lay there for a second, focus on breathing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And, it's like, it is humbling because I'm like, I remember the first time and it happened so quick. Like I had no wrestling background. I did title boxing club mm-hmm. to like workout, right? Which is me and basically like overweight soccer moms. Right. and at least at this location. But the instructor was the biggest jacked human I've ever seen in my life. And he's like, yeah, this is what I do to do this and that. And I remember being there and staying after class. I'm like, I got 3 hours before I got to go to school. I'm like, my kiddo's taken care of. I'm already here. School's 10 minutes away. And I would stay for an extra 3 hours, 4 days a week. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, I'm really getting good with doing this and control and distance and the speed bag and like wanting more. And it's fighting or like jiu-jitsu and fighting are the things, it's a goal you want to achieve. I want to be a fighter, right? I want to fight. I want to learn the skill, but there's no end. There's not like, okay, you've made it this far. You're this. Because even black belts are like, yeah, but the other black belts coming up, mm-hmm. I don't even feel like a black belt anymore. I feel like I'm restarting. And it's like, it's the what is it? The journey to achieve the unachievable thing. Mm-hmm. It's just consistent.
The climbing the mountain never ends.
Yeah.
You get past the clouds and it keeps going.
Yeah. You do get better, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But always get better.
Then you're always like, there's always, what is it? Qui-Gon Jinn, there's always a bigger fish. Right? And, but yeah, I remember getting in a lot of trouble. I like that you pointed to this and Iron Man because it jogged a memory in school, which didn't lead to a good memory at my house with my parents mm-hmm. because I was taking math class. It's probably in 9th grade. Yeah. And I'm like, the only way I can do like physics and math is if I attach it to something that I want. which was I'm going to build an Iron Man suit. Cool. I need a power source. So instead of doing homework, I would listen and go, I need that formula. And I like do my side stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the grades failed. Like, it weren't good. I'm like, probably maintained C's just because I didn't give a shit. But I remember I had built this thing. I didn't know how, I can't even tell you what it is or how it worked or where. But I knew zero about energy, power, or how to build an Iron Man suit. And I remember I have a cord and it's attached to it.
Yeah.
And I go to plug it into the wall and I go like this. I need more power. I need more juice. So then I take like paper clips and I like put it on. So I made it really fucking long. Then I put pop tabs. And then I was like, you know what? That should be enough juice. Maybe not 9th grade. Maybe I was like 6th grade. Yeah, I was going into middle school. Right. Because it came out in 2008. I was like 11 or 12. And I go, all right, here we go. This would be enough juice as soon as I plug it in. Like as soon as the paper clips were like thick enough to go through. And then once they touched the actual like power, man, that thing immediately a black line up and down the wall of my parents' kitchen.
Oh, no.
Because aluminum melts hella quick.
Yeah.
And then it just up and down the wall. And I heard the kitchen, my sister's room, my room, and my parents' room down this hallway. Pop, 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 pop.
Just blew all the outlets?
Dude, all of them.
Oh, no.
And my parents were in the back watching like TV or something, their favorite show. And they go, what the hell? And they look out and it's just me. There's smoke. And there's a line. There's a line up and down. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, what happened? And they're like,
I have no idea.
They're like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like so upset with me. And I'm like, the bigger element is that like I got sick of the critical thinking. And I'm like, I want something that I want to achieve, something bigger than just this, whatever this is.
Yeah.
You know? Because this feels really shitty. And then, you know, I realized that was the like initial component that would lead me to then find the gym, find something like this and push it as far as I can go. And, you know, now we're here. I couldn't have planned that. There's something else with giving up release. It's not like I had a vision, but I didn't plan every step to get here, you know?
Yeah, it's like a loose guideline almost. Like you have an idea of where you like to be, but it's just like you can't focus on every small little detail.
Right. You'll go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You'll go, I mean, like insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, another story. My sister's moving. Okay. My dad does that, especially when moving. I don't know why. It's like his trigger thing. But he's like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do that. And like, no, it's fine. We don't have to take all that. She has a whole week. We can just little stuff at a time. He goes, nope, we're doing it all day. I go, Dad, I can't be here all day. I got to go to the studio. I got to do this. I got to get ready for fights. Da-da-da. He's like, no, you're not listening to me. I'm like, I did. I'm just disagreeing with you. Right? And he's like, no. I'm like, you know what? You want to do it so bad? Let's grab and go. Grab something. Go to the van. Call it good. See if it can fit. If it can't, it can't. Right? Like, let go. Like, release a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, oh, my God. He was like, no, you're not listening. And I'm just sitting there like, did I break my dad? I think I might have broke my dad. Like, you can't fix that on every detail. Just like get it, grab it, go, and then see if it fits, you know? And it'll drive you insane. But yeah, I saw that and I'm like, oh, I don't think this is healthy.
Some people get stuck in their ways with certain things. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've moved, so.
When, I'm kind of jealous, actually.
Why are you jealous? Don't be jealous.
Because you got a badass mom who supports your dreams.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, well, correct. Yeah. It's just that if your mom must be just as, like, mentally sharp and put together as you are, because then you both have that understanding of, like, oh, my son's going after his dreams. I can't be in the way of that. I just have to be here to be his mom, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that, like, for me, it was, like, in here, you know, but it was always, like, something to make you stop. And I'm like, guys, there's always going to be something to make you stop.
Yeah, they think of the bad things that could happen.
There's always going to be something terrible.
Yeah, I mean...
Keep going.
They're just trying to, like, warn you that it might not always turn out the way you think. Because, I mean, everybody wants it to, like, turn out well, right? Yeah. Whatever they're doing. But...
It's true. It just... if it gets more than once or twice, then you're like, you're just making me mentally have to do this with you again.
Mm-hmm.
Just have me do the same argument fight type deal. And then it just became apparent, like, recently. They were like, oh, it looks really nice in there. Someone took a picture in here and like, shared it. And I'm like, yeah, it's been like this for a while. They were like, oh, I think you got something. And I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, not at all.
They don't believe in you in the beginning, but then when it starts getting going, they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Pleasant surprise, but
it's just cool that you have.
Yeah, bro, prove them wrong. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, that's the best thing ever.
You don't need them to tell you that you can do it.
Oh, I think
you got yourself, homie.
Well, and like I said, about 22, 23, right?
Yeah.
When I went to the gym initially, it was a mixture of the insecurity, but also I was like, I don't want to be on Earth. I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh, wow.
Like, bad. I'm like, having a kid, single dad, having to pay for everything. Mom and dad won't help with anything.
Future looked rough.
Well, it was just like, I don't think I'm going to be up here mentally okay for my kiddo. And then I was going through all of that. And then following that negative trail wasn't healthy. And I'm like, so I got to a point where my parents, them and my sister, they got, I guess FaceTiming like a ex-girlfriend or something who had to ask for something. And I think I was just tanked. I can't really remember. Because I remember waking up at my parents' house when I was at my apartment. And they were like, yeah, you were talking nonsense. And I'm like, I think I was just like venting all this stuff. Mm-hmm. They were like, I've never seen Chase like this ever. Usually the happy dude, really good. I'm like, everything collapsed, right? And then I'm just sitting there having to be at my parents. And I'm like, not really worrying about a job. And then just doing the deeper thinking. What am I actually here to do? What's like something meaningful I can pursue? Oh, no, I like talking and the relationship between what sprouts from that conversation.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Let's explore that. And then that required discipline. So then it's like, from my perspective, I'm like, okay, God might have had these things happen and then now you're at rock bottom. And then I'm like, okay, God, whatever you got going on, like for me, let's rock with it. Let's give that up a little. And it was like, great. I think you should do it. Nonsense. I'm like, I love authentic conversation and the relationship from it. He goes, go to the MMA gym. He's like, remember when you were at Title and you loved it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, go to the MMA gym. And I'm like, okay. Like I was up for anything. And then I'm like, oh, I found discipline, friendships, humility. Like I found all these things that I was missing there to then lead to all the things I needed to get to here. I couldn't have guessed that either way. But yeah, I just always have loved, the North location, Ignite for that, for showing me that. Same with Overland Park. Because they are like brothers.
Yeah, it's definitely a family. It's like my home away from home.
Yeah.
Little happy place.
Little happy place.
Yeah.
Little happy place of violence.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess it'd be a third.
See, a lot of people look at it and like, oh, violence is bad and everything. It's like, but you don't understand. It's like the best best teacher that there is.
I was like, you can curse on here.
I'm just making sure.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, no. I've said it like 1,000 times.
The best fucking teacher.
Yeah.
You can have.
It is. I do.
Because when you make a mistake, you made a mistake.
Oh, it doesn't feel great.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, there's a lot that you can learn from fighting and even just jiu-jitsu or stand-up that can transfer over into normal life, and it just helps. Being calm is probably the biggest thing. When I realized, like, in jiu-jitsu, I just got to be calm and like relax. Even if I got somebody on top of me, they might be better than me. Right. Like I might not be able to. I got to relax so then I can see an opportunity for me to do something.
Right. I might have fucked up there, but there is a way to escape. I remember it, but I got calm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just relax. And the same thing with like striking is you got to be okay with getting hit in the head. I know it doesn't sound like the best idea, but once you accept that the possibility of you getting hit is like high and it's gonna happen, you're not like so stiff anymore.
Oh, this is actually part of it.
Yeah, you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Instead, because otherwise you're like worrying in your head, I can't get hit. I can't get hit. You're like, man, I might get hit. Yeah. Just give it back.
I can't get hit. Bam, you get hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit. But that was something else that took a while too. It's actually, it sounds like I had a friend, like all high school, go, "You're a masochist." And I go like this. I go, "What?" I go, "No, I'm not." I was like, because I told them this exact sentence. I go, "Getting hit in the face is not that bad." And
it's really not.
Yeah, it's not as bad as people think it is.
Yeah.
The thought is worse than actually getting hit in the head.
Exactly. Unless it's like...
unless
it's a bad one. But...
a head kick's a little different than getting jabbed by a good partner you trust.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more the thing. And as soon as I said it, they were like, "You're crazy. You're a masochist." And I'm like, "Dude, no, I'm not." Like,
they haven't been punched in the face before.
Yeah, I saw the fear of getting punched in the face come out, and it took their body over and goes, "You're a masochist." And I'm like, "Who are you?" But it's really not that bad. In like, take your dose how you will, right? Like, it's jabs different than a head kick or a slam on the canvas.
Yes, very different. Very different.
Either way, I think a lot of it is just that fear element,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't like it. I'm like, I don't want to be controlled by this thing. It's not even a thing. It's just up here. It's not real.
Oh yeah.
Most of it's not real.
Everything's fine in the moment usually.
Yeah. But did you do anything after your fight?
I just went home. I mean, I watched the rest of the fights. Obviously, I went home and had some food.
Yeah.
Took a nap for a little bit. New day. Yeah, I didn't have to work the next day, so I got to sleep in for the first time in a while.
That's it. That's all you need.
It was very nice. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any you said you don't watch TV very much. Do you have any outside of the gym hobbies? Like things that you really you just strike me as I don't know why, but like a really deep reader. Like I just imagine you.
I did get into reading for a little bit, but I haven't done very much recently.
You had to run PoundTown. Yeah.
But I went to school for gunsmithing, so I kind of dabble with that a little bit, but just on my own stuff,
Yeah.
A little bit of painting, some Cerakote.
That shit's cool.
Whatnot, yeah. I've been into bow making as well.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm working on one of those right now, so that's fun. I like working with wood.
Yeah. Are you talking like making your own?
Yeah. You get like a little stave, like straight piece, and then.
No shit.
Yeah, carve it out of there. Mm-hmm.
Ooh. And you're at the range.
They're okay, but I've only made a couple.
My dad loves archery.
Yeah.
Yeah, his prized possession is his Robin Hooded arrow.
Nice.
It's
nice.
It's hilarious because the first thing you see when you go in my parents' basement is the deer head, and then in the antlers is his like double Robin Hood arrow just sitting there, and this deer's looking at you, and I'm like, "You really like both of those things?" He goes, "Yeah."
Oh yeah, dude.
And I'm like, "You shot that with a gun though, not with a bow." He's like, "Yeah, shut up."
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm like, "All right, just saying."
I bet it was still tasty.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never Robin Hooded. The amount.
I never have either.
Perfect. You know what I mean? It has to be so perfect.
I'm trying to get good without any sights, just like trying to figure out where the arrow is gonna go, just naturally. It's gonna take some time, but.
Oh yeah, I mean, because you're not looking at. It's the same. I remember, he took me, and I'm watching him like really getting it down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh wow, it doesn't look that difficult, And as I pull it back, I'm like, this is really tight.
Oh yeah.
And I'm holding it, and I'm just like, there's no. I'm like, just guess, time your shake, and then and. It was not even close. It was like boom, pop, missed that one. Like terrible. Same with like when I was going to fire my first handgun. Pow, and it just like
lots of practice.
I don't think any of those hit the target. I think it hit the bottom of the guy, but it's not like the movies where John Wick where you're like, pow, pow, pow. It's
unfortunately that'd be pretty cool. First time, just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Don't even get me started. I love those movies. My favorite.
Oh yeah, they're good.
I watch them all the time.
I have seen a couple of those in theaters. So
no.
I have gone to see some movies before, but I just don't go very often.
I've seen some movies before.
I just don't go very often.
But no, but that's really all I had. I want to talk about the fight, talk about, support system, how you found this. Obviously, you're like, let's take it as far as we want to go in the future. Dude. And, bro, I'm excited to watch. Thank you for making me a cabinet member. It's on camera now.
Oh yeah.
But seriously, when you do get that merch, let me know. I will buy one.
No, yeah, I'll let you know. It'll be on Facebook.
Hell yeah.
My one of like 12 posts a year.
Yeah, I always do some like preliminary research, you know. So as I'm in here, I'm like, what's he got? And I'm like, just the fight pictures, really.
Yeah. Fight pictures. Yeah, I don't give you too much, do I?
I got the perfect views. Like, he's dedicated to this. Excellent. But no, Alexander, I appreciate your time, man.
Oh yeah, no, thank you for having me. I've had a blast.
Yeah. Did it feel like it's been an hour and 10 minutes?
No, not at all.
I'm getting good.
Hey, dude, I love when conversations go like that. Yeah, I've had a couple, and it's like, oh my god, it's been a long time.
Yeah, and the other ones, you're like, I've had people come in, they're like, I've had interviews and podcasts where I'm like, get me the f out of here. These questions suck. This person on the Zoom call is annoying me. You know. Yeah. And they're like, how long's it been? I remember I had one guy who was here for like 2.5 hours.
Ooh, it was a long time.
We were just flowing so much in what he's doing. Good. And he goes, hey, what time is it? Because he saw that it wasn't light anymore.
The sun went down.
Yeah, and I go, it's like 9. He goes, oh shit, I missed the movie. And I was like, what? He goes, my wife was supposed to meet in the movie theater.
Oh no.
And he goes, my phone. He turned it off for this thing. Then he goes, oh no. He goes, well, they watched it without me. Guess I got to go by myself tomorrow. But no, I appreciate you coming in and showing me and them who you are as the mayor.
Just a little bit.
Alexander, thank you, man.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, man.
See you guys next week.